All right, Liftoff Prep 2022, Week 5 recap. Thank you guys for joining me today as we go through just what Week 5 looks like in terms of being 5 weeks out from the Muscle Mayhem competition through the WNBF. So, Week 5 overall was pretty good. The main thing that I took away from Week 5 was just a increase in competitiveness as the week drew to a close. I started to really realize, okay, wow, we're only, close to 4 weeks out now, right? And so overall, week 5, I started to become just more motivated because the competition day is in sight, and I'm very excited to compete and show off what I've built in the past, 6, 7 years of just lifting. So definitely excited about that. Excited to see where I stack up against everybody in the bodybuilding open category. And so, I had a choice between, I could go with the novice category, which I would have a maybe a higher chance of placing in, right, in terms of like being in the top 5 or whatever. But I also wouldn't get like a really good gist of how I stack up compared to maybe other like intermediate lifters, right, or advanced lifters, or people that are in the um, the amateur position, right, and not a pro natural bodybuilder yet. So it's going to give me a good a really good view on just how I stack up. So I'm pretty stoked for that. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, so the 5 weeks out, rolling. We're doing great. So, weight didn't fluctuate a whole lot last week. I think maybe I lost about a half pound last week. And then the refeed, my weight bumped up a little bit. So, we're going to push it hard this week, right now in week 4. But overall, week 5 went pretty well. So, and amongst things during week 4, I went to a friend's wedding, which was pretty awesome. It was really cool to just see some friends get married that I've known for a while now. So that was awesome. And then of course, as a social event, navigating that 5 weeks out from a competition, I brought my food with me. Um, because you can allow some leniency, and you can eyeball things and all that kind of stuff, if you really have the skills for it, right? And as you get closer to the competition date, the level of skill that you need to be able to eyeball things that well, and not really underestimate what you're eating, that skill just climbs higher and higher, as you get closer, or the skill needed to do that well, closer to the competition, gets higher and higher. So for me right now, I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to bring my food where I go. At the end of the day, it's not a huge deal. Like, nobody's going to be offended by it, right? And so, even at restaurants, I'll ask the people who work there, like, hey, do you mind if I eat my own food here? Like, I have special dietary restrictions, and they're usually completely fine with it. So, it's not a huge deal to take your food places. Especially if you're not in a position where you feel like you can very fairly accurately, you know, know what you're putting in your body. So yeah, that everything was good there. It was awesome. Training during week 5 went pretty well overall. Like I said, just starting to see more striations and whatnot, which has been great. But pressing felt pretty good overall. Really been enjoying like this overhead press, which shows itself, and then sticking with the incline 60-pound dumbbells. These last few reps that I'm showing here, sometimes reps in reserve looks different every week, but the reason why I'm showing this is because this really does show like a 1 to 2 RIR on a week that I'm feeling a little bit weaker. The pec deck has been pretty good for me recently as well, which is good. Thinking next time here, I'm going to bend my elbows a little bit more just so I don't get as much stretch in my biceps and try and keep that concentrated on the chest a little more. And then the unilateral cable lateral raises are great. Especially my rear delt is starting to, just pop quite a bit during that, which is always really exciting to see. But yeah, having a good time looking in the mirror and whatnot. Right now, I'm trying to figure out, when would be the best time for me to schedule a photo shoot while I'm this lean, and then hopefully when I start to fill back out some. Of course, we have some posing here going on, back double bicep, just to see how it looks. What little angles do I need to adjust to make it look like as best as I can, right? Lower body lifts overall went pretty darn well. No complaints there. Decided to use the wrist wraps this day, just because the grip was feeling a little weak, but everything was moving super smooth. A nice little pause at the bottom of the reps, so everything felt in control, which is great. And so, yeah, overall, things moving pretty well. At this point, it's just rinse and repeat every week. Do what I know works. Don't be trying all this new crazy stuff that could possibly, mess things up for me at all. I just continue smooth sailing, try and land this airplane as smooth as possible in terms of this prep. So yeah, no need to do anything that you don't know isn't going to work, and no need to test any new waters right now or anything, right? So yeah, overall, things going pretty well. Kept really great range of motion in my leg presses, no knee pain, and the reps themselves felt like they were running really smoothly. So yeah, things were going pretty well with that overall. One thing that I am starting to realize is, as we get closer and closer to the date, I'm probably not going to be as lean as I would have hoped. So I tend to naturally hold more body fat on my legs and my glutes, right? Which is the case for a lot of people. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I have some friends who don't bodybuild at all, and they have veins running up and down their legs, and I'm just like, gosh, like I want that, but overall, man, we've dropped from 206 pounds to 169, 168 pounds. So that's like 36 pounds, man. That's quite a bit of body weight, quite a big percentage of my body weight, and maintained like fairly good strength throughout the entire process. So overall, I think I have done the best that I could have done for me during this time in my life. This by the time this prep ends, it'll have been like about 32 weeks of being in a deficit and cutting. And so, we've learned a lot, taken a lot away from this stuff. And next time, a few years from now, it'll be good to have in mind what to expect, and my body will kind of know what's coming, and my mindset will be a little bit more ready than it was this time. Not that I wasn't mentally ready to just kill it and like do my best, but my best will get better. My best will get better, and I think that's something we really have to remember when we put in this much effort towards something, whether it's school or workouts or a prep or whatever it is you have your best right now, but if you keep going and keep doing what you're doing, your best will get better. The only thing that you can do is enjoy the fruits of the labor that you've put in right now, because uh, without that, what's worth it, right? Overall, week 5 recap, everything went pretty darn well. Not going to be as lean as I'd hoped, but I'm going to be the leanest that I could have been for this point in my life and this competition. So I'm very happy about the effort that I was able to put in during this prep, given all the navigations of life and school and everything like that. Lots of life gains even happening in this past 32 weeks. So, yeah, lot of good stuff there. And overall, I think in week 5, it was just a good realization of like, okay, let's definitely stop and smell the roses here. It's very worth it. I've put in a lot of work, a lot of effort into not just bodybuilding, but school, my marriage, my ministry. And so there's nothing better to do for a man to do than to enjoy the fruits of his labor. And so I really want to take a minute to like just smell the roses, and would encourage you to do the same. Like, it makes it all very worth it to enjoy that hard work that you've put in. So, in which case, that's why I kind of want to do a photo shoot, that, and combined with like, it would give me some good content to put on the website, right? Which would be great. Good memories to look back at, and yeah, just roll with it. So, yeah, really looking forward to the celebrating after the competition too. But that's week 5 in a nutshell, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know if you have any questions or anything, and I'll catch you guys next week.